joining me on my channel, Home Sweet Homeschool. I'm Angel Hawks, and I'm a homeschooling mom going on my second year to my 10-year-old son who is going into 5th grade. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about our journey, stick around. Hi, I'm Angel Hawks, and this is my craft room. I like to sew. I am mainly quilter, but I make bags and other maybe home decor like you might see here. My other areas of my house were occupied, and so this was a nice quiet place for me to get my filming done. So here we are in my craft room. You'll see all of my fabric behind me and in bins, and this is where I store everything. So what I wanted to share with you today was our curriculum for the 2021-2022 school year, where my son is going to be going into 5th grade. Here's a little bit about our journey. My son was going to public school up through 3rd grade, and then in the middle of 3rd grade is when the pandemic hit. He has pretty high level ADHD, and he's now on medication for that, and that helps, but he really does well with more one-on-one attention at school. And it's hard in a public school setting with so many students to give him that attention. I wanted to get him into a smaller school setting, possibly a private school, and we could swing the tuition, but the issue became, how do we get him there? Because it's not close by like the public school is. We'll have to drive him. We'll have to go pick him up. Working that schedule out when working and everything was difficult. Then the pandemic hit. Actually, I was working from home before the pandemic hit, but we continued to work from home. And my son came home from school doing remote learning with the public school. And he was constantly having trouble getting connected, getting assignments done. I felt like I was managing his hourly schedule constantly. And so we were working side by side at home so that I could do work and still be available to help him get connected or email his teacher or help him get assignments submitted, or he would have this technology issue or that. And it was a mess. And I just finally got to the point where I was like, if I'm going to have to manage his schedule at such a micro level, then I might as well control it and customize what he's learning to what he needs. In comes homeschooling. So I decided, yep, I think I can do this. There's enough resources out there of all the different curriculums, all of the YouTube homeschooling moms to tell you how they're doing it, what to look for, and all of this. There's so many resources that I said, yeah, I think I can handle this, and I can do it alongside my job, because he's not just learning to read. He's in 4th grade, or is going to be in 4th grade for that year, and so he's pretty independent. I can tell him, go read this and go do the worksheets, and if he has questions, then he comes to me. But for the most part, he's pretty independent. So I felt like, yeah, I can handle this. If he was in kindergarten just trying to learn how to read, I mean, he would need a lot of actual instruction from me and working with him closely. But as an older child, he can do a lot of things independently. So we unenrolled him from public school and decided to homeschool for 4th grade. And this year, it was bumpy because we're trying to figure out our rhythm and what works for us and what curriculum to try and different things. And we tried things and tossed things and tried things. And I think we're now, I now know how he learns best and what would be, what he needs to focus in on, and kind of what he prefers in his learning. And so I feel like I have a really good, solid curriculum lined up for his 5th grade year. In 4th grade, we started out with The Good and the Beautiful. I printed everything off. Boy, was that a big job. I mean, that was huge books of paper. in binders. But it was good. I can't say anything bad about it, but it required a lot of me, and I needed something more open and go, where I could consult with him on issues or something he didn't understand, but not have to lead him the entire way. So I felt like I needed to lead more in the good and the beautiful. So halfway through the year, we switched over to Masterbooks, language lessons for a living education. And that's been really good. And I started him a level behind, so he was on level 3 instead of 4, because I didn't want to skip anything. I was afraid he was behind, and we needed to kind of cover the whole thing. And now we're on 4, and he'll finish that up during our summer session. However, we decided not to go on to Masterbooks level 5. I'm actually changing his language arts again to focus in on specific areas that he needs help. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. For math, we started out with Math UC. I felt like he needed more of a hands-on approach, and a mastery math program would be best so that he could thoroughly understand a single topic before moving on to another topic, rather than the spiral approach public schools tried and some of the other curriculums do. He did great. He loved it. If we needed more instruction, then they have DVD of the creator of the curriculum teaching a class. And so usually we don't use it too much. I can teach him, this is how you do it, very easily. If for some reason he's not grasping how I'm delivering it, then I pull up the DVD and I say, okay, let's watch this together and talk about it. And that has been working great. He likes to just get his book, do his work, go on. We started out with Delta. We finished Delta, and then we moved to Epsilon. Delta was multiplication. Epsilon is division. It's called fractions, but it's all division. And so he is finishing that up in the summer, and then we will move to Zeta, which is percents and decimals for 5th grade. So he's still liking that. I'm not going to rock the boat there. That's good. We like it. He's happy with math. So now for science, we did Masterbooks, soil and sun series, and it wasn't much. I felt it was like a little light. However, we also signed him up for a co-op that taught science there, and so he would go once a week and get science, and he had experiments and other things there. So I felt like the two were fine for 4th grade. However, I didn't want to stay in that same level. We definitely wanted to move on. So this year we are doing something kind of similar. Let me get my book out. We are doing God's Design Life from Masterbooks. So it's the next level. It's for, I think, 3rd through 8th. I probably started him last year on science too low for him. But so this is all plants, the human body, and animals. And then he will also be taking science at the co-op because he loves the experiments. So he'll go one day to the co-op, and this curriculum for science, according to the scope and sequence, is 4 lessons a week. So that worked out perfect. So that he goes to co-op one day, and then he does this the other 4 days. So that's working out. He's also going to take some extra classes at co-op. He's going to take geography, world geography, and it is called Mapping the World with Heart. And so they're going to draw the entire world. So all the countries, all the states in the United States, the entire world throughout the whole year. That's how they're going to learn their geography, by drawing. And he loves to draw, so I think that will be a good pairing. And then lastly, he's going to take Greek and Latin root words, which I think will help with his language arts, which is the only thing he really struggles with, and will also enhance his science going forward. That is what he's going to do at co-op. What else do we have? We also have Bible studies, and this is one thing why I really love to homeschool, is that I can incorporate our faith into his learning. I also decided to add on a new series. This is Answers for Books for Kids, and this is an apologetics series. There are 8 little books. They're kind of small, but they go on different topics. Let me read you some of them. One is Creation and the Fall. There was Dinosaurs and the Flood of Noah, God and the Bible, Sin, Salvation, and the Christian Life, Space and Astronomy, Babel and the Ice Age, Evolution and the Millions of Years Concept, and Satan and Angels. So it's the answers to questions that kids ask frequently about the Bible, about religion. And it comes with a workbook full of worksheets, which I've already devoured and put into our filing system. So that's why it's kind of thin, but it's actually a pretty thick book of worksheets that they do along with it. And it is also, it's actually 5 days a week scheduled, but, so we are doing it 5 days. When he goes to co-op, I don't make him do all the other curriculum except Bible. So he still has to, and he has to read his reader. So when he gets home from co-op, he reads his reader and he does his Bible lesson, and that's all he has to do on that day. And then the other 4 days of the week, we have full curriculum where he does Bible, language arts, math, science, history, and then we have some extracurriculars. And so one of those extracurriculars is art. He loves art. He loves to draw. And so I wanted to incorporate some more actual art education as far as techniques, concepts, and master artists. So this is called the 7 Elements, Living Art Lessons. This is also a Masterbooks book. And the 7 elements are lines, shapes, color, value, texture, form, and space. So he gets a lesson per week is how it's lined out. So we're going to do 1 day a week, and we're going to have another extracurricular on another day of the week. So twice a week we'll have extracurriculars, Wednesdays and Fridays. And so this teaches about the concept and the design elements like lines, like I said, shapes, color, value, all that. But in the lesson, they will also pick up some master artists like Picasso, Van Gogh, some other like famous portraits. Maybe it's not all about the artist, but they focus in on some famous works. Monet, different famous artists, and then they talk about different techniques. So there's watercolor, there's acrylics, there's mixed media, here's stamping. There's a variety of techniques of different projects. And so along with this comes an artist journal, and in here is where you can actually do activities. They have worksheet pages, and then they also have instructions for actual art projects, which you would do outside of the workbook on, watercolor paper or whatever you may have. So we're going to be doing that once a week. And then his other extracurricular that he's going to do once a week is typing, and we got this from The Good and the Beautiful. They have 3 levels. This is the typing one because he's never really been exposed to typing. And they're really simple, simple little exercises that he can do. And then when he completes them, they have a place in the workbook for a sticker. And up front, they have all of these beautiful little stickers that they can stick on the pages as they complete their lessons. So we're going to try that and see how that goes. I'm going to have a lot of updates for you to see how this curriculum does with my child because I'm trying new things this year. One area that I am trying all new things because I felt like his language arts is number one, I think the most important, but he's really good at math, and I think math is equally important, but he's really good at it, so I don't need to work on that. But I needed to work on his language arts. He, like I said, he was behind in public school, and we found out in 2nd grade that he was severely behind, and that's when we had him diagnosed with ADHD and started him on medication, and he just transformed into a totally different person with regard to schoolwork because he could not focus and was getting upset at school because the class would work on something and he couldn't focus and get started with everyone else. And by the time he did get started and get really in the groove of what he was doing, everybody else was moving on to something else. And he'd get interrupted and that would frustrate the heck out of him because it would happen over and over and over all day. And that after a while he's blowing up, he's melting down. So we decided he needed a lot of help to get back up to speed. Once he got more focused and was able to focus on school better, we decided to take that summer between 2nd and 3rd grade to catch him up. So we put him through an intensive summer program of extra tutors and stuff to get him up to speed. And he improved at least half, if not a whole grade level within that summertime. And that kind of set a precedent for us to school year round. And I decided that summer, we're going to do this again next summer. So in between 3rd and 4th grade, 3rd and 4th grade, we decided to do summer again. But I did it myself. And so I bought the curriculum and we did language arts all summer. And then we did 4th grade from home, our first official homeschooling year. And we're going to continue the summer again because he will slide back and I don't want that to happen. I want him moving forward. So, and he doesn't mind it. He's not a real outdoorsy kid. So, if he's inside, he's going to be watching TV and playing video games all day, and Mama's not having that. So, we've got to do something productive. We are going to be doing a lighter curriculum than we do the rest of the year. We're just doing language arts and math and Bible, but we are focused on the areas that he is a little shaky in. And so what I decided for the fall semester, I'm not going to introduce everything until, let's say, I'm introducing one new program in the summer, and then in the fall we'll introduce 2 new programs. The one that I'm doing in the summer is the Phonetic Zoo from IEW. I found IEW and I wasn't going to just adopt it all. I just wanted to try it out, and the more and more I researched and found out more about the programs and I looked at other curriculums, the more I fell in love with IEW. And I did introduce all of them. But we're going to start this in the summer, and then we're going to start 2 other programs from IEW for language arts in the fall. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Phonetic Zoo, and I'm going to do a whole video on it because I think it's overlooked in the homeschool arena. Everybody's, really popular, other curriculum, like Masterbooks, which is good, and Good and the Beautiful, which is also good. I feel like the spelling is, in particular, this one is overlooked. I think they have all about spelling, and they have spelling UC and different ones I've seen lots of people doing. And they're very aesthetically pleasing, like they're very bright and colorful. And this one's less than that in that regard. But I saw the introduction video, which I'll link up here in case you're interested in learning more about it. And this is called the Spelling and the Brain by Andrew Pudewa, who created the IEW curriculum. And it really spoke to me on a level that made sense. I didn't do well in spelling. My husband didn't do well in spelling. Being taught the same way that, because we're public school, where you have a random list of words and you spell them, you learn how to spell them for a week, and then you move on to another list. Even if you got some of them wrong, you got them wrong, and it counted on your grade, and then you went on to the next list. In that video, he explains why that is not so good and what does work. And so I highly recommend that you check it out just for, another point of view. If your child's having a hard time in spelling, it might be something you want to try out. I am very excited about it, and I'm hoping for big, dramatic results. So I will definitely keep you in the loop on how that goes. Now, so we're going to start out the summer, but in the fall, we're also going to start 2 pieces of IEW. One is the writing program, and this is IEW's Institute of Excellence in Writing, if you don't know. And the writing program is called Structure and Style. It comes with this big binder. I'm not going to take it out. But you can see the binder. Structure and Style for Students. And they have 2 methods of this curriculum specifically for writing. It's a writing program. I think it's grades 4 through 6. So he's right there. This one is a streaming content based curriculum where he will watch the lessons, and Andrew Pudewa is the instructor on not DVD but on the streaming lessons. And Andrew Pudewa is a very engaging instructor. He uses humor, and he's a master on the subject. So I felt like I want the best. I'm sure I could teach it myself, but I'm not a formally trained instructor, right? I didn't get my degree in teaching. I don't know all the ins and outs of teaching, so why not use the master to teach? So that's the version that we chose to go with. The other version is a parent instructed program, and they have videos to train you on how to teach the curriculum, which is great. And I would totally do that if this wasn't available. The key difference about Structure and Style writing program is that instead of saying, okay, we're going to write something about this topic, now you come up with what you want to say. And oh, by the way, you've got to have an intro and a conclusion. This is kind of how I was taught in public school, right? If you have no clue where to start, that is too overwhelming. And my child resists writing like it is the plague. He will melt down if you just said, okay, we're going to write a paper and we're going to write a paragraph. He just freak out. Like he can write a sentence, but he can write. He does fine when I get him to do it. It's that I don't want to attitude that I get. And I think it has come out of frustration of being overwhelmed. He doesn't know what to put down. Like, where do you start? What do you write? And so IEW has a different approach where they take a source text of a paragraph, and they teach the child how to dissect it into the keywords that make up that paragraph, one sentence at a time. And then they create an outline with those keywords, and then they teach the child how to retell the subject, the source text, in their own words using just those keywords from their outline. So if they can retell it, then they can write it in their own words. And now they know what to write. So it's not an empty, make up your own topic, kind of approach. It is, here's a written paragraph that has content. Learn it and dissect it, and then go write a summary of it. And that is more doable. Now, when you get further along, they use less of a crutch of the source text. They actually, in the end, they make you go get your own sources and put information together and that kind of thing, or make it up yourself. But by then, you've had so much practice doing it the other way that you understand how the process works. I'm probably terrible at describing this, but there's definitely lots of resources on how structure and style works, and I will definitely do another full-blown video where we'll walk through it later, and I would love to update you guys on how he's doing with the program, because I think that it will actually help him, and I'm really excited about it. The other program that we're going to start from IEW is called Hexadrama. This is a pretty popular one. This is 3rd through 5th, meaning anywhere in there they could do this level. And then there's a second level that's actually middle school. So he's perfect level for that. He can do this year, and then he can do book 2 in 6th grade for middle school. But what this approach is an actual literary work. I don't know if you'd call it a novel, but a story called The Nose Tree. And what they do is they take one sentence every single day. So it's a 4-day work week. And one day they take one sentence and it's not diagramming per se, but it's marking it up like an editor. And so you're identifying the parts of speech like you do in diagramming. You're identifying the punctuation, all the parts of speech, and they have vocabulary built in. So they identify at least one vocabulary word every day. Some of them have multiple, especially as you go through. And so all the while through the whole program, you're writing this story one sentence at a time and learning to punctuate, to what the parts of speech are, all of the markings that an editor would use on the story throughout. I'm very excited about this as well. I think it will be a new approach for him that may make sense to him more than what we've tried before. So I will keep you updated and see how it goes. So those are the three. The language arts is what we're really mixing up this year and trying something totally different. All the other things are, some of them are new books, but they're the same typical approach that he's had before. Now, history, in 4th grade, we did Texas history because that's typically what the public schools in Texas do. Is 4th grade Texas history and also 7th grade Texas history. I got an exclusively Texas history curriculum, and he did, history, geography, economics, and civics kind of stuff all about Texas. We are doing America's Story, and I'm starting on level 1, and it is really geared towards 3rd grade is what they recommend you start it at. Since he's in 5th grade, we're going to try to double time it, which is I'm going to try to do 2 lessons a day instead of 1. And of course, if that becomes too heavy for him, then we'll just back it off, no big deal. But I thought I'd try it and see if he can handle it. You just adjust from there. But if he can handle it, then we will be able to finish it in a semester and then start on number 2 in the second semester. It's got a reading book, and then it's got a workbook, which I also have devoured and put into my filing system, which I'm going to share with you in another video, where I talk about how I'm planning my year and preparing my curriculum for a worry-free and touch-less curriculum for him to be able to help himself and be very independent. Now, the last thing that I have to share with you is a new concept that I'm building in along with Bible. It's very Bible focused and faith focused, but it's the concept of character building. What this is character trait studies. And this comes from a company called Institute of Basic Life Principles. And I've got a sticky on here noting what book we're going to do each month. And so these are very thin little books. I think they have 20, maybe 30 pages in them. So they're quick and easy, and they're broken down in the scope and sequence for 4 weeks. So a month you would go through a single character trait. What it does is it identifies the character trait, what is it, and then it goes over references in the Bible to building that trait. Then it has Bible stories that kind of drive home that character trait. It has memory verses, and then there's activities like coloring, word finds, things like that. In addition to there's actually a hymn in each one that you study. So it brings in music as well. There are 50-something different character traits. As you can see on here, I'm not going to read them all. So what I did is just to try them out and see how they go. I picked about 6 that we could try out, that I focused on ones that I felt would fit my son's personality or what Mama wanted to focus on this year. And so for the first month that I'm trying it at is initiative is the first one. In July, we're going to do compassion. In August, we're going to do endurance, September, orderliness. October, obedience. November, gratefulness. December, forgiveness. And January, resourcefulness. So we shall see how those go. And that I'm just going to work into his Bible studies with the Apologetics that I've got in the fall. During the summer, this is our Bible study that we're going to do. So thank you so much for spending your time with me today, learning a little bit about us, where we were last year, and where we're going for our 5th grade year, our 2nd year of homeschooling. I hope you will join us again. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I come out with a new video. My next ones are going to be about planning your school year, how I plan and how I prepare the curriculum for my son to be independent using his binder system that I've created and my file storage system. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.